I admit I'm prejudiced because it's the kind I know best. There are, of course, other wonderful crabs, such as in North America the Dungeness, found from Alaska to Mexico, the Florida stone crab, which lives from the Carolinas to the Gulf of Texas, and the sweet, delicate Maine crab, more properly the Atlantic rock crab. Chefs call it peaky-toe, which inhabits the cooler waters north of Cape Cod, the arm that sends the warm Gulf Stream out into the Atlantic. To offer just one more example, the shore crab in the Venetian lagoon makes the city's moleche, its soft-shell crabs. Blue crabs are common along the Atlantic coast from Cape Cod to Florida, in the Caribbean, and as far west as Texas. They live in South America all the way to northern Argentina, and have been introduced into parts of Europe as well as Japan. But the blue crab thrives especially in the Chesapeake Bay of Maryland and Virginia, with its vast, rich, shallow waters and great marshes. And that's the region where the blue crab is most appreciated. The bay's shallowness and the huge area that feeds it and makes it rich. Tributaries flow in from 6 states, combined to make the bay vulnerable to pollution. There are steady efforts to protect the bay, and the crabs continue to thrive. The shells of the crab are blue, but cooking turns them red. Around the Chesapeake Bay, blue crabs are eaten steamed, boiled, fried whole as soft shells, made into soup and gumbo, deviled, fried in cakes, and dressed with mayonnaise as salad. At crab houses near the water, customers sit down to mounds of steamed crabs on paper-covered tables, breaking open the claws with wooden mallets and eating the crabs plain, washed down with pitchers of iced tea and cold beer. The most serious eaters dissect the crabs with a stony intensity. Unlike some crabs, whose meat is almost all in the claws, the best meat of the blue crab is in the body. At a certain point, after you've lifted the top shell, you break the body in half, so the 2 big, prized, tender pieces of back fin meat come out. Blue crab is delicate and doesn't benefit from being dipped in butter like lobster. Too often the crabs are flavored with Old Bay seasoning, a product that dates from around the Second World War and tastes of celery salt and baking spice. A little fresh celery is an old flavoring for crab, but the seed and spice flavors of Old Bay have no precedent in earlier Maryland cooking and don't complement any seafood. Female blue crabs caught in winter and spring are likely to contain tasty orange roe. Most flavorful is the mustard-colored fat, called the mustard, tamale, or liver. Scientifically, it's the hepatopancreas. It's safe to eat as long as the crabs were taken from water free of chemical pollutants. Crab cakes are emblematic of mid-Atlantic cooking. A great one contains little but crab meat, lump, ideally for the most delectable texture, mixed gently to keep the pieces whole with soft white breadcrumbs. There shouldn't be enough bread to taste, only enough to hold the cake together. And so what if it falls apart a little? You flavor the mixture as you like, with maybe a little fine dice of cooked bell pepper, maybe some chopped parsley, possibly some cooked onion, and probably a little hot red pepper. The old regional variety is the fish pepper, just undergoing a revival. Hot pepper is one of the important African contributions to the cooking of the South. Crab lends itself to soup and gumbo. And if you pick the meat yourself, you extract maximum flavor by making a broth of the shells and using that as the foundation of whatever you make. Charleston's she-crab soup uses female crabs full of roe. The point of reference is the recipe of William Diaz, an African-American chef in the 1930 cookbook 200 Years of Charleston Cooking. He calls for she-crabs, milk, cream, onion, sherry, and Worcestershire sauce. As it grows, a blue crab big enough to catch legally sheds its shell as many as a half-dozen times a season. The smallest, youngest crabs shed every few days. Crabs identified as peelers are put into shedding floats, which sit on the water or next to it with water pumped through continuously. The crabs are checked frequently through the day and night so they can be removed soon after they shed. When a crab first breaks out of the shell, it's extremely soft and utterly exposed.